Hi everybody, I'm Richard from Electric Classic Cars, and on this week's episode it's time to update you on the next episode of the Porsche 928 supercar to hypercar build. So just as a recap, and for those that haven't seen it, click on the link above for the first episode. We got given a Porsche 928 by a very generous viewer. His engine had gone bang and his gearbox had also gone south, and he didn't want to see it broken up for parts. So he donated it to us and said, hey guys, see what you can do with this. So I have free reign, never a good idea, to do whatever I want to this Porsche 928. So what are we going to do? Now originally this car was 1600 kilos. It was a Porsche 928 S4 with a V8 in the front, transaxle at the back, and it had aluminium kind of front end, if you like. This is aluminium, but as you get more towards the back, and that was to compensate obviously for that heavy V8, as you get more towards the back, steel. So the first thing I wanted to do is let's see how light we can get this, because in the previous episode when it first came in, just literally fresh with the engine and gearbox dropped out and petrol tank and exhaust, it weighed just about 1,000 kilos. But as you can see, with the amount of dust we got on this car already, we've been busy trying to lose a little bit more weight. So let's see where we've lost that weight, shall we? Now the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed there's a couple of white panels on the car at the moment. What are they? Well, they are carbon fibre, people. Now anybody that knows about carbon fibre knows it's very strong and very light. Just to give you an example, that weighs next to nothing. Whereas what came off it, I'm going to need a glamorous assistant for this because it is quite heavy. What came off it is this. Got it? Oh, that is heavy. Isn't it just? Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, this does have the glass in, but this is all steel, and that is foamy kind of material, whereas this is fiberglass and carbon fibre. So what we've done is we put carbon fibre rear boot and fiberglass spoiler on, but also around the side here, we've killed three birds with one stone, because this is carbon fibre as well. And by the way, these panels are from Club Autosport, and I've been working on cars for a long time and I've never come across such good quality and good fit carbon fibre panels as these. So if you're looking for carbon fibre panels on your Porsche, go to Club Autosport. I have been seriously impressed with their handiwork. But yeah, this has killed three birds with one stone. One is a little bit of weight saving because the original back here is steel. This is now carbon fibre. However, this also, and the same the other side, had some rust on it. You can probably see it down here. So that was falling apart. So that's the other reason why we replaced it. But the final reason is this is a GTS arch, and this is just a normal S4 arch. The GTS arch has like a arch extension on it, which means we can get bigger tyres underneath. Can see here that's flat, whereas this is quite hard to see when it's white, but it has quite a good haunch coming out here, which means I can go with some big wheels and tyres at the back. Now another thing we got off those great guys at Club Autosport was some perspex windows, and these are moulded to the right shape but also weigh next to nothing compared to the old glass ones that are down here. And so glass ones, perspex ones. Now here's a good tip for anybody that's going to be doing this as a weight saving on a road car. On a race car it doesn't really matter. On a road car, perspex and Lexan can get scratched quite easily, especially when you're cleaning stuff. However, if you put some window tint on the outside and the inside if you want, then it protects it from getting scratched, and that's what we're going to do here. Because if you notice, these are completely clear, whereas original glass has, if I hold it to that, a kind of bluey green tint. So we're going to match exactly that with the perspex. Also perspex screen on the boot as well, so from the outside once this is all painted and the tints are on, you won't have a clue that we've seriously lightened up the back end on this car. As I mentioned before, one of the benefits that we've got of putting these GTS arches on with that wider sort of bubble arch profile on means that we don't need to go with the original wheels and tyres, and these are 245 wide. Now I can go with my favourite Porsche tyre, or Porsche wheel if you like, which is the Turbo S wheel. I just love the shape of these. These are solids, you can get them in hollows as well, which are the ones that are really sought after because they're lighter. That's what's on my Silver Beetle, for instance. But I've got a spare set of solids that are normally used for, you know, drifting and doing some silly stuff on tracks in the Silver Beetle. So I've tried these on and they fit perfectly. Not only that, but they look spot on as well. So I'm going to go with these wheels, not these tyres obviously. These tyres are absolutely knackered from doing stupid stuff, but I'm going to be putting on 295 probably Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s, which are my favourite tyres for performance applications. So that's what's going to be sitting on this car when it's finished, is these Turbo S wheels, some Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s on the rear and the front, and I think it's going to look spot on. Now here we're starting to err into not just weight savings but also aerodynamic improvements, because we've taken the big horrible square mirrors off that were on early 928s and also 911s of that era, and we've replaced them with these that kind of, you know, superseded those mirrors, if you like. And as you notice, they're more of a teardrop shape, so they're more aerodynamic, but also they're a lot lighter, because the other ones had motors in, they were like, you know, adjustable, etc. These are adjustable but just don't have all the heavy stuff that I really don't want in it. So these are going to go on. I think they improve the look anyway, and a bit of weight saving and better aerodynamics. Now then, we're around at the front now, and you'll notice I've taken out the pop-up headlights and also the side lights and fog lights that normally sit in there. And because this is my car now and I've got free reign, I like to also, whenever I electrify a car and a classic car, I kind of like to go a little bit custom. You know, have a look at my Silver Beetle if you want to see my sort of style that I like, and I'm going to do the same on this. I'm going to try and update it a little bit, kind of a modern reimagining of a 928 if you like. And you notice the rear lights are out as well. We're going to do something a little bit trick with the rear lights but also the front lights, because something that really dates this car, I think, is those pop-up headlights, and I'm going to do something a little bit different on the front as well. I'm not going to give the game away yet. I'll save that for the next episode. But as far as weight savings is concerned, because that's what this episode's all about, this is what came out of all of the pop-up headlights, because you've got the headlights there, you've got nuts and bolts flying out everywhere, you've got the motor itself that drives the pop-up headlights, you've got that bit behind that holds it in place and twists, and then you've got the bar that goes between the two. This little lot weighed around about 12 kilos, so that's 12 kilos of weight we ain't going to need anymore. I've got to admit, I didn't know much about the Porsche 928 before I started this project, but I know a lot more now. I've been researching a certain model which is quite rare. It's a club sport model of the Porsche 928, and that was a lighter version of the 928. What Porsche did is they took loads of the kind of luxurious aspects of the car out, things like, you know, the motor that remotely opens up the boot, and, you know, other bits and pieces like that that you don't necessarily need on a car, and they just stripped the car down to probably something more akin to a 911 what was it, 911 RS? What was the thing I was racing the other day? 911
GT3 RS.
GT3 RS. More like that, kind of stripped back version of the car. And they saved quite a bit of weight. And I've been doing exactly the same to a certain extent. So all of this stuff in here, including all of the wiring loom as well, has come out of the car because of that. So as I say, things like the rear window wiper, the rear window wiper motor, the motor that operates the rear lock on the boot, all that sort of stuff, and stripping back the loom, just those bits and pieces that I don't need. And this little box here weighs quite a bit, but I've kept some of the luxuries, let's say, because I still want to use this when it's finished quite a lot, and I don't want to take any of its GT characteristics away. So I haven't gone as far as some people do. For instance, stripping out the sound deadening inside the car. I've left that in because I want some of the luxuries, but not all of them, if you know what I mean. So for instance, one of the guys said, take the sunroof out, it weighs a lot. Okay, but I like a sunroof, so I've kept that in. Things like remote or servos on the central locking of the doors and stuff, you can make them manual. No, left them in. So I've done some of it, but not all of it. But what I really want to find out now, and I'm itching to find out because I honestly haven't weighed this yet, I want to know how much it weighs now. And this is a good example of what I mean by I've done some stuff but not others. So I've left all the soundproofing inside the passenger compartment, but here on this firewall here I've taken out the really thick sound deadening that's just dampened down the noise from the engine, because it's going to be a little bit more quiet than it used to be. So that's come out. Another example, for instance, on the Club Sport version, they would have put in manual adjustable seats, because these, which I'm leaving in, are the luxurious ones with God knows how many motors in, because all the adjustments are here, and I think they're heated actually. I don't know actually. Question to you guys out there, what is that button there? Is that heated seats? I'm not too sure. But the other thing I want to show while I'm in here as well is, look at this wiring, right? This is Porsche wiring. That is the original Porsche fuse box and relay box. Look at the state of the wiring. That is insane. I'm glad to say our wiring does not look like that. It looks a damn sight better. But can you believe that's what it came out of the factory? It looks good on this side, no problem. But then you turn it over. Yeah, I'd give that 2 out of 10 for you guys out there in Porsche world. Right, moment of truth. You ready, Tim?
Yeah, let's see what it weighs.
Right, so originally, just as a recap, originally this car weighed 1,600 kilos when it was, engine, petrol, etc., etc. Then when it came to us without the engine, gearbox, and we stripped all the usual ICE stuff out, internal combustion engine stuff out, it weighed 1,000 kilos, and now we've been on it for a week or two and kind of lightened it further with the carbon fibre, the perspex windows and other bits and pieces here and there. It's going to weigh, drum roll please, or in fact lift noise please. Let's put it down, it's off the lift. Right, I'm actually quite nervous, I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to say 900 kilos.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good, isn't it?
So
900.
We've lost 100 kilos off it.
What's the scores on the doors then?
Right, we are now down to 857 kilos, people. That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's pretty impressive.
So I can't do the maths, so we'll have to put it on the screen. So from 1,600 kilos down to 857 kilos, that's our starting point. Okay, we do have the rear lights out and the front lights are out, but obviously we're changing them anyway. But that is our starting point, and we put the rear seats in and the interiors all back in as much as possible, so that 857 kilos is our starting weight. Whoop, whoop. Well, I'm happy with that. We've saved what's that, 700 odd kilos?
Yeah, you've almost halved the weight, haven't you?
Nearly half the weight, and I'm sure if we did a lot of interior strip out, sound deadening, put manual seats in, took out the back seats, we'd probably get it down to maybe 800 kilos, but as I said before, I want to keep a little bit of the luxury in this car. So yeah, we've chopped out 700 kilos, which is probably about the same weight as your Lotus. How much is your Lotus Elise?
700 kilos. So,
is it?
Yeah, so you've taken out the weight of a
So we've stripped out the weight of a Lotus Elise on this car already, but now obviously we've got some bits and pieces like the rear lights to go in, but now we can start concentrating on the stuff underneath the car, because now it's eyes down looking for the EV side of things. So we've got motor to go in, battery boxes to go in, all the bits and pieces to get that weight back onto the car. But because we've saved so much weight, I might have a little bit of a rethink now on what size battery we can put in. I'm still going to go with that Tesla performance drive unit in the rear, re-geared, so we can get that top speed, but we might be able to go with a bigger battery. I just need to crunch the numbers. So there we go. I think that's enough for this episode, people. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one.